in Maine. Why must I chase the cat?
Good evening and welcome to Pound Posse Presents. This is the first ever solo show in the history of Pound Posse Presents. Of course, I did have a guest scheduled, but things do happen in the world, and life goes on. Hope everything's okay. And I think we've got plenty enough to talk about to keep most of the show going tonight. And as a special treat for all of us, I have opened up the phone lines. So if you've got something to say, if you just want to say hello, I've got the phone set up. Feel free to give me a call, even if it's just to say hi. 203-753-7593. It's right there on the screen. You can just pick up the phone, call and say hi. I'm going to see tonight for sure who's really paying attention. Anyway, I'm going to start out talking about some events that happened in Waterbury this week. As we all know, my guests last week were the Careys, who were putting on the protest against the Waterbury Animal Shelter, and that protest did take place on Monday night outside of the Waterbury City Hall. It was a very interesting experience. I've never been to a protest. Just not really my platform, but in the interest of, well, first of all, journalism, because we know I'm a columnist and a TV show host, it was something to experience. The protest was successful in that people did show up. There was a good group. I got to meet Kay Riviello, who is head of both chapters of the New York and the Connecticut New York Animal Rights Alliance, and she's a Spitfire. There were, like I say, good support, but I'm not going to lie that for all of the damage control that I've done on Facebook and in person for people who want to change things and point fingers and complain a lot, there was definitely an absence of support that I'm kind of surprised at. I realized that 5 o'clock on a Monday night, kind of a hard time to get there after work or, before feeding your families and all of that. But if you're truly passionate about something and you really are serious about wanting to affect a change, you really have to show the commitment. I'm a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, but the girls were happy that there was a turnout. I got to take plenty of notes. Like I said, my first journalistic experience, there was a little bit of, the board would not let non-residents speak. They wouldn't bend, so not everybody who intended to speak that night was allowed to. There was a very powerful speech to the Board of Aldermen by a gentleman who had wanted to adopt a dog from Waterbury, and unfortunately that dog came down with parvo and was killed. So he was devastated because he would have treated her, and he got up and he spoke to the board. And the aldermen were contacted by email from someone who attended the evening's events, mentioning the fact that not everyone was allowed to speak, and there was an apologetic response. I don't know if that's quite enough, but it's interesting. They did acknowledge it, and the mayor acknowledged the concerns of the protesters in his closing statements to the board. I guess he speaks at the end of the meetings, and that was nice of him to acknowledge it, because really he could have just ignored it. So thank you, Mayor, for at least realizing that there is a presence and there are people who want to see some change. I was kind of boggled because there were some people who were speaking at the meeting. I guess, you sign up, you get to go and have your 3 minutes or whatever it is in front of the board. Really thought that the protest was about the pit bulls who were shot that attacked the elderly woman here in town. And that just kind of goes to show that people don't pay attention. That kind of boggles my mind. It is, in fact, not what the protest was about, and I think that they were made to feel very clearly that they were wrong. But it's done, it's out there. Now it's wait and see. We'll have to see if there will be anything truly done to address the concerns that were brought by the Careys to the city of Waterbury. I know I personally got to speak to Deputy Chief Riddick myself for a few minutes. He does seem to be interested in changes. I took a lot of notes that night. It was interesting. Like I said, it was a very interesting process as a journalist. Lots of notes, lots of learning curves and experiences. The big media was out there, so there I was kind of feeling, wow, I wish I was like them, but whatever. Anyway, phone lines are open, 203-753-7593. If you want to call in and say hi, put in your 2 cents, do it now. Do it at some point. Save me from myself tonight. Anyway, also on Monday was opening day at the Waterbury Animal Shelter. Had been closed again for another parvo outbreak, and there were actually pretty good adoptions on Monday, and they were steady all week, so that everybody was safe. There were a lot of dogs pulled, there were a lot of dogs adopted. There's definitely been such an improvement. It was a nail biter because there were so many dogs coming back, and as I've explained, during the quarantine in Waterbury and any of the other pounds that have been closed, and there are a great number of them, the dogs are held in other facilities while the pound is closed. So when that pound that's been closed is reopened, all the dogs have to come back in from everywhere else, and if there's not enough space, it makes it urgent, more urgent than usual, because every dog in a kill shelter is urgent. As soon as it walks in the door, the time starts ticking. But we did have steady adoptions, and I want to thank everybody all week long who stepped up. There was a couple of rescues that pulled. I know Animals for Life took some dogs, ARF took some dogs, a lot of individual people, a lot of fosters happening. We put together some transport for ARF. So it was a team effort, and that's the way it should be. And speaking of ARF, they did reopen today. It looked like it was a great event. The building looks beautiful. And if you don't know who ARF is, it's Animal Rescue Foundation in Terryville. Their building burned down about 3 years ago, and it's been a long haul to get back in business, so to speak, and be able to fill up those kennels and try to save animals. So they did pull some from Waterbury, so thank you to Nikki for making that happen, because without, I think, her influence, Waterbury may or may not have been overlooked, but Nikki's my hero for pulling some dogs from Waterbury. And I also have to say that she's my hero because she pulled another dog that was not in Waterbury. She got Drake out of the Meriden Pound. Now, Drake is a dog that, if you know me on Facebook, you had to have seen him over and over and over and over. There was a picture that was circulating, shared far and wide, about the kitten snuggling pit bull who was sentenced to death by his owner for not being a good enough fighting dog. They took him, they were going to actually hang him, and somebody did save that dog. They took him to her home, had him for almost a year, and that was until the landlord found out. Of course, once the landlord found out, that put the end to that, and Drake had to be placed. And we tried so hard, sharing and sharing and sharing. It was finally reported to us that Drake was adopted. So, you know, big collective sigh of relief, only to find out that 3 weeks after he was supposedly adopted, he ended up in the Meriden Pound. And I want to thank Amanda, who does their Pet Finder page, for the light going on and putting two and two together. And she contacted me, sent me a picture of the dog they had in Meriden, and asked me, you know, is this dog this dog? So, of course it was, and we really still don't know how Drake ended up in a kill shelter when he was supposed to have been safely adopted. And of course then they closed with parvo, so poor Drake was stuck, and being a young dog and not having a certain veterinary history, probably very susceptible, and the fact that he was under stress, I heard he wasn't really taking to the kennel, he'd rather be home snuggling up with somebody's kitten. The picture's great. You really got to go look on Facebook. But anyway, he was starting to stress out. Stress is a factor contributing to parvo, because stress, of course, lowers your immune system, and you can get all kinds of illnesses from being stressed out when your body starts to give out. So he was a big concern, and on their opening day, Nikki once again stepped to the plate and got Drake safe. So I was hoping to get out to their event today. I want to really meet Drake, hoping that I can still do that, but thank you to everyone involved. And I have to give a special shout out to somebody who I know will watch on YouTube, and that would be Marie Marsh, who has run the Rescue Coco page long after Rescue 20 Paws to Share saved Coco. They got her safely into a home in upstate New York, and Marie did not want to give up her cause because it wasn't just Coco that she was championing for on her page, but it turned into a page much like any others, but with a very large voice, because Marie is just fabulous. And she took Drake to heart as I did and had his picture as her profile picture, and she shared him and shared him. We were in contact together over what we could do to try to help him. I, of course, did an article in my column, again, using that fabulous picture of him sleeping with the kitten. But Marie, I know, was very relieved to know that Drake was no longer, at least in a kill facility, and fortunately not in any danger for that respect of losing his life, and he's now going to probably stand a better chance because ARF is pretty prominent, and I think that they'll do a great job in placing him, and I hope he gets a home quickly, but I hope not before I get to go see him. But anyway, that was Drake's story, and if anybody wants to call in, I'm going to say it again, 203-753-7593. I hope I'm not playing at crickets tonight, because that would really disappoint me. I know I get the hits on YouTube, but I never know who's watching. This is your chance to let me know you are. Anyway, talking about some lost dogs, we've got a new one to add to the mix. Lacey, who is a Polish lowland sheepdog, and she was lost in the Huntington section of, I believe it's Trumbull, the Trumbull area, on March 31st. She was visiting with some relatives, and something scared her, and she got off her collar and she took off. And unfortunately, she hasn't been sighted for the last couple of weeks. She's been out there, who knows where all these dogs like Andy and Ozzy, who are still both missing. As you'll see, both dogs' posters are still up as per my promise until they're home. If anybody can help in that area, Trumbull, Monroe, kind of put up posters, make people aware, maybe take a walk in some of the trails, see if you can just get your eyes on her. You know, these dogs that get lost, they go into this feral survival mode really quickly, and unfortunately, some of them are scared in nature to begin with, so that they're not going to come to you. They're not going to come to a stranger, and I understand that Lacey was very leery of strangers, so that makes it kind of hard in and of itself. Her owner did get to see her a couple weekends ago, but Lacey didn't respond to her call, which is kind of sad. I know that's crushing. I mean, how must that feel to call out to a dog and it's yours and it runs away or whatever? So if you can help, that would be fabulous. There is a page on Facebook, Find Lacey. You can go there, like it, show your support. Like I said, if you can do anything at all to help hang posters, make people aware. Same thing with Andy and Ozzy. They're still out there somewhere. I know that there's been more sightings for Andy. There's really been some campaign. It's a fabulous story. But I'm going to tell you about, it's one thing when you've got a dog out there running around and someone is absolutely trying to find it. But it's another thing entirely when someone finds a dog, tracks down the owners, and hears the response that I'm about to tell you the story. Now, let's start from the beginning. A patron of a store that I frequent went in and told the story of a pug that they found running alongside of a very busy road. Of course, she turns around, she stops, she's afraid that this thing's going to get hit by traffic. What is anybody thinking? How is this pug running loose? So she stops, she gets the dog. Somehow or another, they track down the owner. Now, the height of anything but loving and compassionate. The owner actually said he let the dog go because he hoped it would get hit by something and killed. Can you imagine that? Here's a dog that probably, because of its very nature of being a dog, loves these people, loves this family, depends on them for everything in its life. And they just open the door hoping it gets killed? Are you kidding me here? The woman who found it has secured its safety. I don't know whether she took it in or she found it at home, but can you just imagine? Can open the door, and that's how a lot of stray animals get picked up by these pounds too. I've long said that in Waterbury, it's a huge problem, and I know it is all over. You get tired of a dog, you don't want it anymore, you just open the door and let it go. Folks, someone's not going to take care of that dog. That pug got very lucky because it could have been hit and killed. It could have been run over by a car. It could have been eaten by, remember this is springtime, and you've got coyotes and foxes and bobcats and all kinds of things out there looking to feed their hungry young. A dog running loose is definitely prey. You know, it doesn't stand a chance. It can't defend itself. You let a dog out, it could be picked up as a bait dog. It could be picked up and brought to a laboratory. The fate of that dog is just not secure. If you're not willing to step up and take that lifetime responsibility for an animal, do everybody a favor. Don't take it in. Don't think it's going to be like, well, you know, if I don't want it, I'll bring it back, or if I don't want it, I'll let it go, or someone else will take care of it. That's not what's going to happen. If it gets picked up as a stray, it ends up in a pound. A dog in a pound has a certain shelf life, so to speak. And if it's not adopted, it's going to die. Maybe you don't care, but I am very sure that that poor dog or cat or whatever you've just let out your door cares if it ends up being ripped to shreds as bait, if it ends up being eaten by something, if it ends up being used in a laboratory where the horrors of what those animals go through is just unspeakable. So please be responsible. If you don't want an animal, don't take an animal in. If you don't want an animal, secure its safety. Suck it up and take however long it takes to place it in good hands. Don't just give it to the first person walking down the street that you don't know because you don't care. Okay, I'm kind of like done with, he's looking at me over there. I'm done with the rant and rave on that one. But it's just, it's not right. If you can't care for an animal, don't take it in. Just don't do it. It's not, you can't just let it go to the fates. I had someone tell me a couple weeks ago, I think I saw it on Facebook, that somebody's Pomeranian was out in their yard and a hawk came down and took it. They only found the dog's head. Do you think that that dog died a happy life? I mean, died a happy death? Do you think that that owner wasn't devastated? Don't even leave your dogs loose, small dogs, anywhere. Don't, just be responsible. That's all I'm saying. Be responsible with your pets. Things do happen. I remember one time I was out back with my little Kelly, may she rest in peace, and I had her on a leash. And she was all of 11, 12 pounds. She was a little rat terrier. And I'm standing there with her on the leash, and I looked up, and there was a hawk circling. And I had these horrible visions of this hawk swooping down and grabbing her, because they're prey animals. They could take a rabbit, they could take a cat, they could take a 12-pound dog easily. They could take a rat terrier or a Pomeranian or even that poor pug that was running around. Just swooping down, and I had like this cartoon vision of me like having a tug of war with the leash and the hawk up in the air. I picked Kelly up under my arm, not to even try to take a chance, and I walked back in the house, and you know that hawk was gone. That hawk saw lunch. They don't play. They're hungry. They're not playing. So please just don't even leave your animals outside, because it's not a good idea. Don't let them go. They're going to die a horrible death. You don't want that to happen. You really don't want that to happen. You may hope that you're going to open the door and the dog's going to get killed. I'm still on that kick, but you know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be nice. Anyway, 203-753-7593. Where are you, people? Folks, call me, say hi, do something. Anyway, I can talk for 7 more minutes. I've done it this far. I'm going to have laryngitis, and you guys aren't even going to watch this show because, hey, I've been talking the whole time. Anyway, there's an event tomorrow, Rock for Rescue, being put on by my dear friends Deirdre Croce, Tony Prito and his lovely wife, Suzanne. They have a new venture for helping save Connecticut dogs in municipal pounds. And this event will be taking place, as I said, tomorrow in Watertown. If you want more information, you can go to my Facebook page, Pound Posse Presents. It's going to be from 12 to 5. I will be there. So what's better than that? Come out, meet me. You know, these people are so lucky I'm coming to their events, right? I'm getting a thumbs up in the corner. Anyway, it's all for a good cause, and it's going to help these dogs. So check me out on Facebook, Pound Posse Presents. I'll have that event up, and you can find out more about it. Love to see you if you want to stop by and say hi. And if you don't have, if you're not on Facebook and you want to find out more, you can email me, pawprints713@AOL.com. Pawprints with an S, P-A-W-P-R-I-N-T-S, 713@AOL.com. Anyway, there's going to be other events coming up. One will be in Cheshire next Sunday, and that will be to benefit the City of Hartford Animal Shelter. And I'm kind of excited because there's going to be a pet psychic there, and you can actually have your dog or cat or whatever you want to bring read. And I think that's really interesting, and I'm curious to see, like, if I bring Mojo, what will happen. Let's see, I got a phone call? Let's see. Hi, hello, who's this? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Kylie.
Hi, Kylie, how are you?
Good.
What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I want to share a story with you.
Okay.
My niece was at college, and her roommate was getting rid of a cat. And what they were going to do was let it out, not my niece and not her roommate, but some friends had told them to get rid of the cat, not keep it in the dorm, and let it go in the woods.
Oh, boy.
So I was looking for a kitten, and I had adopted one. She's 6 years old, and I wanted a playmate for her.
Uh-huh.
So I adopted my beautiful baby boy, who is 5 months old. I took him in, and he has brought me the most beautiful, such joy into my house.
And this is the kitten that was going to get let go into the woods?
Yes.
Well, bless your heart. See?
We love him, and we are looking for another cat to adopt.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
We're looking for another cat to adopt, and we're actually going to the function tomorrow you're having in Watertown.
Oh, good. You'll have to come and say hi to me and introduce yourself.
Yes, we definitely will, but I just caught you on TV, and I think you guys have a wonderful cause. I think the show is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
This is the first time I've seen it, and I'm going to Facebook you tonight, because I think, let me tell you, I think what you're doing, and I think what everybody else is doing, Deidre and Tony and Suzanne, I think is wonderful, because there's so many animals out there, and, you know, I know so many people who just want to go and get a dog, and they go to the pet store, and they buy the dog, and then, you know, and there's so many animals out there that need to be adopted.
Oh, absolutely. And that leads to the whole other flip side of that, buying a dog or a cat in a pet store, the puppy mills, and I'm sure you've seen the pictures on Facebook of what the puppy leaves behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no compassion in people, and I don't understand that. And I really appreciate the fact that you're looking to adopt,
Yeah.
and that you're
we're really the first time I adopted was a few years ago, and I was never really interested in adopting any animals. But then my brother is involved, and my sister-in-law, and everybody in my family is involved in animal adoption and animal rescue.
It's contagious, isn't it?
It is. It is. And let me tell you, like I said before, I think you're doing a great thing, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And you're like an angel to all the animals.
Oh, thank you so much. And God bless you for adopting and opening your home and being willing to take in another one, because, you know, I always say, like, kind of like when they're small anyway, cats and little dogs, what's one more mouth to feed?
That's okay. That's okay. You know what? That's okay. They bring me a lot of happiness and a lot of joy, and they're like children.
They are. They're family.
Yes, they are. So I just want to tell you that I'm going to the function tomorrow, and I'm going to look for you.
Oh, well, I look forward to meeting you. Thank you so much for all your kind words, and thank you for calling in.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was really sweet. That was a very nice phone call, and I have a new friend to meet tomorrow. I've got Nancy in the control room, and she's like, "Oh, yay!" She loves people who adopt kitties and puppies, and she's throwing me hugs from behind there. Anyway, that was very nice. Anyway, we're going to probably be ready to wrap it up in another very short couple minutes. But there's also, as I was saying, the event in Cheshire, and I will be there as well. So again, come look for me, come say hi. And there'll be an event for Running for Rescues the weekend after that, which is looking like it's going to be a pretty big deal. Running for Rescues, Jody and Judy were on the show probably mid-February, I want to say. And we still got that guy in the corner there who's going to run and help out our pound animals and our shelter animals. Another event I will be attending, and it looks like I may be emceeing a little bit. So I will look forward to seeing everybody there. These events are all going to be posted on my Facebook page, Pound Posse Presents. Coming up after that, I believe it's early June, in Southington is going to be a car show. And I'll tell you what, Mama loves a car show. And everything is all for the animals. All of these events are definitely going to benefit the animals. Now, New Britain Pound has a couple of dogs, Rennie and Casey, who desperately need homes. They're urgent. Time is running out. Rennie's a male adult, handsome, attention-loving, pity boy that just, he's beautiful. You got to check him out. I'll have him posted on my page. Casey is a young female pitty, and she's beautiful, she's sweet, she's affectionate. She needs a home. There's my credits. Check out the New Britain Pound. If you need an appointment, call 860-223-5021. I'm going to do my peace, love, and dogs, so I get that in. Thank you all very much for watching and listening to me rant and rave in the absence of a guest tonight. I will see you on next Saturday at 7. Stay tuned, 8 o'clock. My friend Speedo and his 316 show will be coming up. And thank you for the lovely phone call. We'll see everybody tomorrow. I'm fading out, or I'm seeing stars, or I'm going black, or something. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Good night.